guys, so I have cut lining for each, and this is for our sleeve. So what I'm going to do with it is that I'll just take one of the lining and I'm going to attach it to the sleeve, the right side of the fabric. So I've used chalk to mark here, which is the wrong side, and so I'll just open it and so I'm going to sew it from here all through to the down. Make sure arranging it well, sew it all through to the next one. Then after sewing everything, I'm going to create a notch, making sure that I won't cut through the thread, and then I'll open up this way, place it on the lining and sew on it all through. This is the down part. The down part, so I'm going to line it from the right side and I'm going to do it from the down. I'm going to attach the lining to it from the right side this way, and I'll sew through it also, sew on it. After, I'll open up this way, turn it to this and give it a top stitch. Yes, so I'll do that for this is the front part of the down and this is the back part of the down. I'll do the same way just as I did for the front. The difference is that with the back I'll sew the zip line. So after attaching it this way and doing the top stitch like the front one this way also, then after the top stitch I'll hold it together this way and sew the zip line. Sew the zip line all through. Yes, so I'll do that for both. Then I'll come to the upper part. The upper part, I'm going to add stiff to it. So I'll just place it on it and then I'm going to cut for the stiff. So you can measure and then cut for the stiff. You can measure 3 inches or 2 inches and cut. That is 3 inches this way. After cutting the neck, you can place your tape measure and measure how much you want, maybe 2 or 3 inches. Okay, so this is it for the back. So I'm going to divide it into 2. Okay, and I'm going to place this on the lining, iron on top. I'm going to iron on top. So after ironing on top, I'm going to place it on it. This is the right side of the fabric. Okay, so where you attach the stiff will become the wrong side of the lining. Do you get it? So I'll just place it right side of the lining with the right side of the fabric this way and sew on it, this way. And then after, I'll create a notch, making sure that I won't cut through the thread, and then I'll give it a top stitch and then I'll sew the zip allowance. Do you get it? I'll sew this line also. So I'll do the same thing for this also. I've also cut stiff for the front part. Yes, so I'll just place it on it this way on the lining and I'm going to iron on top like this. Iron it very well. Then after, I'm going to attach the lining to the fabric. So this is the right side of the fabric. This here becomes the right side of the lining. Okay, and so you just have to make sure that the lining and the fabric are equal, and I'm going to sew on top this way all through. Then after, I'll create a notch. I'll be cutting through, making sure that I will not cut through the thread. Then after the notch, I am going to open up this way, you see, and then give it a top stitch, place it here, and then sew on top all through. Okay, so I'll do all that, then we'll continue. Hey guys, so here it is. I'm done adding lining to each of them. Yes, so this is it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my darts on the upper part and the down part. And so this is for the front of the upper part. I folded it into two this way. So I'm going to measure the darts. I'm going to measure 12 inches from shoulder to the bust, 11.5 plus half, 12, and I'm going to measure 4.5. that is the dart for the dart. And then I'll come to the waist here to measure 4.5 the same. I am going to consider under bust. I'm going to consider under bust, and I'm going to mark 15 here. Okay, so the same thing. Okay, so at the under bust here, so this is it. So at the under bust, I'm going to mark 1.5. 1.5 divided by 2 is going to be 0.75. 0.75. And then at the waistline here, I'm going to mark 0.5 on each side. Okay, so I'm going to join the points. Okay, and I'm going to use this to get my darts. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing at the other side, and then I'll come to the back also. The back, I'm going to measure 7.5 here, and I'm going to, this is the zip allowance size, so I'm going to place it on the line and measure my 4.5 here. And then I'll come to the waist and measure the 4.5. Here, no need for under bust for the back. No need for under bust. Okay, so I'm going to mark 0.5 on each side. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm going to hold it this way. You see, I'm going to hold it this way and then sew on it. Do you get it? So I'll do the same thing for the other side also. This is where the zip allowance is. You will also stand here. This is the line, and then mark your 4 inches, which is, mark your 4 inches plus half, which is 4.5, and then you mark, you come here and you mark, that is 6.5. Now when you mark this 6.5, you can add half to it to make it 7. Do you get it? And I'm going to do the same thing for the front one. So 7, then make your 4.5. You see? Okay, so let's mark it straight. And then we are going to have ½ inch on each side this way, and then we will join it this way. And so with the down part, the skirts, that you don't need to add your, use a curve to do it. A straight ruler is okay. Okay, so I'm going to sew the darts. After pinning, I'm going to sew the dart, then we'll join it together. And so when I finish, what I'll do is, when I take the front like this, I'm going to, this is the front of the skirt, so I'll take the front of the back and then join it to it this way before I place my measurement on it. So I'm going to join it to it this way and then sew on a ½ inch. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the back also. I'll pick the one that matches with each of the back from the zip line. Okay, so I'll make sure my darts will meet equally. Okay, and then I'll sew on top, and then I'll sew on top on a 1/2 inch all through. Now I'll do the same thing for this, then we'll continue. Okay guys, so here is it. I'm done joining the upper part to it. So the next thing to do is to join front and back together, and before then I'm going to place the measurements on it. So at the bust here, I'll place my tape measure and measure 20. So I have 3, that is 23, so it's going to be 1.5 on each side. And then I'll come to the waist. The waist is 36, so from here to here I'll measure 18. That's 36 divided by 2 is going to be 18. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4, so I will measure 2 inches on each side. So 2 inches here, 2 inches here, the waistline, and then the bust 1.5 here, 1.5 here. Then I'll come straight to the hip side, 46, and so I'm going to measure 23. That is 46 divided by 2 is going to be 23, and so I have 4 inches. I'll measure 2 inches on each side. And so then I'll come to the down here. The down here, what I have here is 19. I'm going to make it 16. So 1, 2, 3, and so 1.5 on each side. Okay, and then from the hip here to join it to the waist, and then from here I'm going to join it to the bust. Okay, so let me measure the armhole and see what I have there. So I have 10 point almost so 10.25, which is okay. 10.25 is okay for my armhole. The armhole is 18, which is 9. We'll hold the half here. We'll hold the shoulder here 1/2 inch, and so I have 10 here. This is, the sleeve is not a tight sleeve, so it's okay. I'll do the same thing for this side also. So we are just going to join the back to it this way, and then we'll take the back, one of it, the one that will face each other this way, and then we are going to join it shoulder to shoulder this way. And I'm going to sew on a 1/2 inch. I'm going to sew on a 1/2 inch and then join it together here. You see, so I'll sew on it, then I'll do the same thing for this side also. Join it from shoulder to shoulder the same way, sew on a 1/2 inch. Then after, I'm going to push it in this way, so it's going to be something like this, you see, and then I'm going to join it together and then sew on the marked shape. You see, I'll sew on it, do the same thing for the other side. So I'm going to measure the 10 also here from here. So this is the 10, and I'm going to join it to, I'm going to sew it straight this way. So I'm going to sew on this. I'll do the same thing for this, then we'll come and fix it. Okay guys, so here is it. I have joined it together and I've fixed one of the sleeves already. I've also attached my zip to it. Now what I did was, after joining the sides together, I measured for my slits, the inches that I want for the slit opening. So this is it. I measured 18 for my slit opening, and then from there I closed it from there to where my zip will end, So after then I attached my zip. If you don't know how to fix a zip, I'm going to leave a link in the description box on how to sew a zip or attach a zip to your dress. And so the next thing to do is to add the sleeve to it. And so from the armhole, this is the armhole where we joined, we are going to attach it to the next armhole. So this is it, the armhole of the sleeve. So this is it. Then we'll pin. So we are going to sew it all through. I created a notch at the shoulder, where the shoulder of the sleeve is. I'm going to attach it to the shoulder of the dress. Okay. And I'm going to sew on it all through, all round up to this point. So I'll finish that and then show you the end result. Okay guys, so this is it. I am done. So this is it, our sleeves. I'll put it on the mannequin for you to see. And this is the down part, you see. So this is our pencil dress, long pencil dress. You see. So this is it. And I've done my hermes also here. So this is it. Okay, thank you so much for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, consider subscribing, like and share this video, and make sure, I beg, to watch the adverts that will come after this video. Bye bye.